Hello student. Today we start Chapter 2. The Union Executive. Introduction to the Executive Branch. When we think about how a country functions, we often wonder who makes the important decisions that affect millions of lives. Who ensures that laws are implemented? Who represents the nation on the global stage? The answer lies in understanding the executive branch of government. In India, the Union Executive forms the administrative backbone of our democratic system, responsible for implementing laws, managing governance, and ensuring the smooth functioning of the nation. The executive is one of the three pillars of democracy, alongside the legislature and the judiciary. Each pillar has a distinct role to play. While the legislature makes laws and the judiciary interprets them, the executive puts these laws into action. Think of it like a school system. If the school board makes rules, legislature, and the discipline committee ensures fairness, judiciary, then the principal and teachers who actually run the school represent the executive. They implement policies, manage activities, and ensure everything runs smoothly. Similarly, the Union Executive manages the entire country's administration. India follows a parliamentary system of government, which means our executive is directly responsible to the legislature. This system is quite different from a presidential system like that of the United States. In our parliamentary democracy, the real power lies with elected representatives who can be removed if they lose Parliament's confidence. This makes the government truly accountable to the people. The President of India, the constitutional head. Understanding the President's role. The President of India holds the highest constitutional office in the country, often referred to as the first citizen of India. The President serves as the chief executive of the Indian Union and represents the unity and sovereignty of the nation. However, it's crucial to understand that the President is a nominal or constitutional head, not the real executive authority. This means that while the President holds significant ceremonial importance and constitutional powers on paper, the actual governance is carried out by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Why do we have this system? In a parliamentary democracy, we want elected representatives to hold real power. The President stands above party politics, representing all Indians regardless of political affiliation, while the Prime Minister handles the political responsibility of running the government. Election and qualifications. The President is not directly elected by the people. Instead, an electoral college conducts an indirect election consisting of the elected members of both houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of all states. This system ensures that both central and state governments have a proportional voice in selecting the President, maintaining the federal character of our Constitution. The President is elected for a term of 5 years and can be re-elected. To be eligible, a person must be a citizen of India, at least 35 years of age, possess Qualifications necessary to be a member of the Lok Sabha and should not hold any office of profit under the government. These qualifications ensure maturity, experience, and independence. Powers and functions of the President. Executive powers. The President appoints the Prime Minister, who is typically the leader of the party or coalition securing an absolute majority in the Lok Sabha. On the Prime Minister's advice, the President also appoints other union ministers, state governors, judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, the Controller and Auditor General, the Attorney General, and members of the Union Public Service Commission. The President also appoints ambassadors and high commissioners to other countries. As the Supreme Commander of the Defense Forces, the President holds the highest military authority. All major military decisions, including declarations of war or peace treaties, are made in the President's name. All important international treaties and contracts are also concluded in the President's name, symbolizing that these agreements are made by the nation. Legislative powers. The President plays an integral role in the legislative process. He or she can summon or prorogue Parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha. Every year, the President addresses the joint sitting of both houses at the beginning of the first session, outlining the government's policies and programs for the coming year. Every bill passed by Parliament must receive the President's assent before becoming law. The President can send a bill back for reconsideration, but if Parliament passes it again, the President must give assent. This ensures that Parliament has the final say. The President nominates 12 distinguished members to the Rajya Sabha who have made significant contributions in fields like literature, science, art, and social service. The President can also nominate 2 Anglo-Indian members to the Lok Sabha if they are not adequately represented. When Parliament is not in session and urgent legislation is needed, the President can issue ordinances. These ordinances have the same force as laws but remain valid for only 6 weeks after Parliament reconvenes, ensuring governance continues during parliamentary recesses. Financial powers. The annual budget is presented to Parliament in the President's name. No money bill related to taxation, government expenditure, or borrowing can be introduced without the President's prior permission, ensuring constitutional oversight over the nation's finances. Judicial powers. The President has the power to grant pardons, remit sentences, reduce punishments, or suspend sentences of convicted persons. Particularly important is the President's power to pardon death sentences, providing a final avenue for mercy. The President cannot be held answerable to any court except in case of impeachment by Parliament, ensuring freedom to discharge constitutional duties without fear of frivolous legal proceedings. Emergency powers. The President can declare 3 types of emergencies. First, if security is threatened by external aggression or armed rebellion, the President can declare a national emergency. Second, if constitutional machinery breaks down in any state, the President can impose President's rule, bringing it under direct central administration. Third, if financial stability is threatened, the President can declare a financial emergency. Impeachment of the President. There is a constitutional mechanism to remove a President who violates the Constitution, commits treason, or is involved in corruption. This process is called impeachment. Either House of Parliament can initiate charges signed by at least one-fourth of its members with 14 days' notice. If two-thirds of that House supports the charges, they go to the other House. If confirmed by two-thirds majority thereto, the President is removed. This difficult process ensures it's used only for serious violations.